that one. Hello, we are on air. Welcome to Studio 1340 at Kassel University. So Germany is still in lockdown. Greetings to the guys in Douala, as I understand. COVID is no longer a problem in Cameroon, and you are safe and you are allowed to go to university even. So university in Kassel is closed, no students. It's today just me in the office at the whole level here in the department. Sorry, this is not the slide I want to show to you. This is what we are going to do today. We are going to connect the warehouse and the shop server. Before that, there is a bunch of things that are remainders from last week. So did we discuss that a lot of await statements were missing when I did show my solution for writing into the database last week? So there were tons of awaits missing, and actually what you needed to do is use IntelliJ. Then it is going to warn you that you should have these kinds of things. Or here we go. You go into your model and go for your tslint JSON file. Come on, that one. And this one has, in my thing, very little things. It asks for it allows trailing commas and it allows console statements. And what you should have in your tslint file is something like, I have prepared that. I'm so proud. Something more. So you should have something like no floating promises true. And this one will actually tell lint to look for all places where there should be an await statement because you are calling an asynchronous method and you are not waiting for the result. And if you add these, this will help us throughout the lectures for new stuff that's coming up. So that's one of the first things I would like to add, and I apologize for not preparing that database systems thing very well last time. In addition, our database approach has a problem, and this should be in the submit handler. So I was creating a problem that is called SQL injection. So what I was not aware of is that in SQL it is allowed to nest SQL statements into each other. So at any place where you would like to have a value that is computed, you can say quote and then add a new SQL statement within the other SQL statement that gets executed and then replaced by the value it produces. And you can do this thus. You can anywhere in data that you provide that the browser sends to the client, like a topic or like a ID that we were using within our SQL statements directly. Where is this? Here. I was using backquotes to generate my thing and did fill in the topic value directly coming from a browser, a user, a client that were sending me a message. And if that is an evil client, it will just say, oh, quote, drop database. And then all your database is gone. This is called SQL injection. And there is a way around it. You can actually avoid it by using so-called prepared statements. So you get a query with two parameters. And actually the first parameter is again a string that defines the select the SQL statement. However, this time the placeholders is just $1, $2, $3. And your query gets an extra parameter, which is an array of values to be filled into $1, $2, $3, and so on. And if you do it this way, the documentation says there is better proved software behind the scene that validates the things that you pass as values here for not being evil to your code. So for not being SQL injection. So battle-proof software, and you do not do that yourself, never ever. So please change all your database statements to use prepared statements instead of the thing that we did before, that I showed to you. So this is actually this statement here. You can have actually the values as its own array here, and then have this standard form of a parameterized query. That is what you should use in practice. This is actually something which we're crashing databases and web servers around the world during the 80s and 90s very, very frequently, until we have learned on the hard tour to avoid these kinds of problems. And I'm sorry for showing it in a wrong way first time, so I actually rarely use SQL relational databases. And actually this is, of course, is the very first one that I use directly this way. I thought it was easier. However, there is a pitfall. Please use prepared statements. We are going to check that on your next assignment, that you actually have changed this. That was this one. Okay. I think that was it. The remainders from last week. So let's go on. So this week we tried to connect the warehouse and the shop, and especially the servers. So this is our architecture. We have multiple people working with a client that belongs to the warehouse. There's one warehouse service currently, which is this Node.js Express service that gets queries and commands and executes them. And that one has one database where it stores the events that it receives from the clients and works on that. And so this is somehow working now. So this is, we have the database, the web service is connected to the database, we have the clients connected to the web service. So this one is actually done. What we not really tested a lot was, is it actually working to have multiple clients? But actually, believe me, that is going to work very well. So what we do now is we exchange messages between the warehouse and the shop. And the first thing that the warehouse is going to tell the shop is any time that we have a new product here. So this is what we do today. Next week we will extend this by anytime that actually goods are arriving at the warehouse and are stored into the warehouse, the warehouse tells us to the shop. So so far we have ordered shoes in Italy, but they have not been delivered to our warehouse. As soon as they come, we get a pallet, a Euro pallet usually, with some 100 boxes of shoes on it. And then a forklift comes and puts it at some place in our warehouse. And at that point in time, we can actually start in selling these things. So at that point, the warehouse tells the shop, hey, we have goods, please sell them. And so then a shop web client will be opened, and some administrative staff working at the shop is going to put it online and give an offer where customers, real world customers, end users can actually buy shoes, one pair of shoes. And then when soon as this has happened, such a customer order is going to the shop service, and that one will actually do the payment stuff. And as soon as this is resolved, it sends a picking task to the warehouse service, which tells, oh, please, could you go to where the pallet has been stored, pick one box and send it to Alice, and these kinds of stuff. So our shop service and our warehouse service need to talk to each other. And well, there is somehow a difference between those two services talking to each other and the service talking to the client. And the point here is that our client communicates with the warehouse service via HTTP. We actually do HTTP posts, hypertext transfer protocol posts. We could also do GETs. And the point is that HTTP is connectionless. Can you actually see me here? It's connectionless, which means you do not have an open connection or a continuous connection between client and service. And the point here is that the warehouse service has no possibility at all to push information to the warehouse web client, to the browser. So the server cannot send a message to the browser. So this means that the warehouse client always needs to pull for new information. If something changes in the warehouse service, for example, because another user has added some information, so Alice puts something here, Bob has his screen open too, Bob won't see this information that Alice has added to the warehouse until he does a refresh, which actually means that he does another request for the service to send actual information or current information, recent information, new information. So these clients are always asking the service, oh, is there something new? Is there something new? Are there users? Are there products? Are there orders and these kinds of stuff? We could do the same thing between services. However, that's uncool. It would be, that would mean that, well, once in a second, the warehouse would ask the shop, is there some new picking task? And one time in a second, the shop would ask the warehouse, is there some new product? Is there some new good or new pallet that I could actually start an offer? And while waiting just 1 second, it's not that bad a thing. However, that thing that use timers, these are really hard to debug and you do not want it. And actually you would like that the warehouse service is going to push information to the shop service. And the shop service is going to push new information in the moment it gets it to the warehouse service. And therefore we will actually do something like that. Well, actually, these are web services. You actually can run a GET or POST query on those. So whenever the warehouse wants, if he knows the address or the URL of the shop, the warehouse service can actually call the information as a client would, as a shop client would. So the warehouse service can actually say, oh, I'm a web participant too. I might be a browser. I actually do a submit on the shop service. And similarly, the shop service can actually do a submit on the warehouse service. And so the problem is that, those two services might not be online all the time. Perhaps we need to restart the shop service for maintenance reasons. So it is down now, a new version is installed, and then it goes up again. And if the warehouse service does push notification or tries to do a submit on the shop service, and that one is not done, an error is thrown, and well, yeah, so what are we doing with lost messages? And so the warehouse service would actually need to keep track on, so which of these messages have I already sent, and then, well, again, once in a second, every second it would retry if it is it up now, can I now send it, and constantly try to reach this service until it is finally up again. And that's bad behavior. trying to reach if a communication fails, if you cannot do actually a submit of a new event, then just retry. Because that will actually, create a lot of load on the internet. And actually, when this guy comes up again, it will have a huge amount of messages waiting in a queue, and that will stress this one very much. And then it will probably crash on startup direct. And in order to avoid all these things, what we are going to do is we will implement a publish subscribe pattern. Where is this one? Publish subscribe pattern. That is a frequently used pattern. Actually, what you also could do is you put a message broker in between those two. You could use Kafka, which is the most popular message broker these days, and it's really reliable. So you put another service in the middle, and the warehouse service actually just publishes his message to the Kafka thing, which is actually pretty similar to an event store at the end. And then the shop service gets messages from the event, from this message broker whenever it is ready. And it's buffered in between. Yeah, you can do that. However, again, if you use Kafka or an event store here in the middle, you again need to poll. You constantly ask the message broker for new messages, and you have connections with those, and these are very tricky too. And actually, why do I want to have another event store here in the middle where this one and this one already have an event store? So there's no good reason for this. So the idea is that whenever the shop starts, it connects to the warehouse and tells him, hey, I'm up. Is there something new? The last message I got from you was from Monday, 9 o'clock. So could you have sent me everything that's happened meanwhile? And then the warehouse service will respond with that, and it will recall or store the information that the shop is interested in product messages. We do this per topic. And if a client sends a new product message, it will automatically forward that to the shop directly without the shop asking for it. Whenever this forwarding of information fails, it says, oh, my subscriber is dead, and removes the subscriber from its internal queue, and that's okay, no. And then when the shop comes up again later on, so it's probably broken, it will probably restart, it will again subscribe and say, oh, we were disconnected for some time, please send what has been done in between. And then I go to my event store, ask for all the events that have happened since that time, send it to the shop service, and that's basically what we are going to do. I have created a picture for this. This is our famous drawing of the event storming business events, and here the detailed events. And I have added something here in between, and I hope I can actually enlarge this. Yeah. Oh no. Let's have this like this. Yeah, here we are. I'm sorry, that is really a little bit small. So here are our warehouse service and our shop service, and it's 1430 something. And the shop has some product, some palette, some data. And at 1431 it's just starting, have read this from its own database. And then it says, oh, I would like to subscribe for products, and sends such a message to the warehouse service. The warehouse service handles the subscribe, adds, currently has this data, and answers with all the new product that has been sent meanwhile. It's basically the idea. I actually need to extend this figure a little bit more to get the information really to you. And I actually have to make it smaller a little bit that you see the whole picture. Actually, you will have to go into it and have a look at the details. And we are going to implement this thing here now. Okay. Let's go back to this picture here. That's good enough. So what do? We connect those two. Well, actually, we do not yet have a shop service. So that's what we are going to start with. I implement this shop service, and we have created that project already. So here's the server warehouse, and I do not even have the project. Okay, and so I do add folder to workspace, and here is the server shop. Okay, that one has still something in it which is stemming from earlier preparations. The first thing that you will need is a package.json file. I'm not sure from which point in time this is. This package.json here is rubbish. If you have that already, you need to do something about it. One thing that you could do is go for the server warehouse, go for the package.json of that one. Hello, would you please open that? Oh, there. Sorry, it's the wrong one. That one. This is the one that we use here. And you copy that one and change the name in here and the name here. And that's basically it. It's all the thing that you need to do. Edit the header information here, and then you are fine. And actually, I have prepared that. And it's not the server warehouse, but the server shop. And there the package.json file. Oh no, I'm in the wrong version. Should I actually just copy this one? And go for the other one. And it's handy to close these things and then go for the server shop, package.json, and change this. So it just copy pasted this and say this is no longer the server warehouse, but the server shop. And description server for the WASP shop. Yeah. All the other stuff is fine. Great. Here I'm in the server warehouse. I'm not sure why. I want to go for the server shop, and there I do a yarn install. I have done this yesterday, so it probably has a lot of these things already downloaded. This will, well, download the internet as usually. So you get a huge amount of things in your node modules, all these stuff downloaded. And I still have it from preparation yesterday, so that was the reason that it's so fast for me. Basically, that is what you would like to do. So we do not yet have source. That would be fine. Let's have first source folder. Yeehaw. And then we again copy things from let me see. Source server shop. Yeah, that one. No, that one. Let's start with the roots. Oh, well, actually, come on. Let's just copy it from the server warehouse. So there is source. Damn it. There's source, index, and roots. Copy. Close everything, go for server shop, go for source, and paste. Here is index and roots. Let's go for roots and go for it. It says, oh, I need a business model query handler. It's going to come soon. I need Express. Yeah, fine. I need course. It should be here. Not sure what the problem here is. I will use the port 34560. That's bad. Because that one will be used by the warehouse and we are now in the shop. So we change that one, use another port per default. And we will have to deal with these settings soon. And so what's the problem here? It's probably still a little bit unhappy, but let's fix these problems first and then we go for it. And is there anything, yes, here. That one says, so what does this thing do? It starts the submit handler and query handler. It installs the root for API submit and API query and connects them to submit and query handler. That's fine. And it gives you a welcome, and the welcome should now be from the shop. Okay, you can test it soon, and I'm really unhappy with the course thing here. It's probably something missing in my package.json, but I'm not sure. Let's have a short look into index.ts. That one looks fine for me. It takes the port, it doesn't something complicated, that's good. Okay. Query handler. We need a query handler. We can again copy that one from. Yeah, should be possible. There's nothing specific in the query handler. We copy it from the server warehouse. Server warehouse, source, business model, query handler, and submit handler. Copy. Server shop source. It says it needs to be in the business thing model thing here. So new folder. Never type, always copy. Business underscore model. Here we are. And I put the files into that one. So now this one here is fine. So what's wrong with the course? Sebastian, help! So it's probably not installed correctly. So course from course. Package.json. There's course. There's no problem. Ignore for now. Okay. Yeah, there was one wrong bracket. And so, whoa, how was it on the server warehouse? And there, server warehouse, source, roots. Here it's okay. So, there you have it. Oh, there was one missing. No. That's strange. Everything is up to date. Should really work. So, invalid option for configuration tslint.john. We do not have a tslint yet. I copy that one. And that one goes to the server shop directly. And let's try that one again. That's bad. That one is the roots. Yeah, might be. Yeah. Okay, so let's have a look at the query handler. It says, I want a model query. Yeah, so why not? Let's copy that. So before that, let's actually, this is the source, new folder, model. And I actually have a lot of these things prepared. I could get it from yeah, but hey, let's go on. Then you see how it is done. I'm a little bit concerned that it might fail if I do it wrong. And so we use query. Hey, and because we are here, we also copy event. And hey, how about the model editor? And we will probably need something like products. And there should be a products editor. Is not? Oh, it's probably part of the main editor. So yeah, no, that will be changed. Do we have a model editor? So where am I? Server warehouse, yeah? Yeah, probably we need a main editor. No, we have the model editor. Okay, let's have those. That will be fine. And we put it into model, yeehaw. So we have a query. Topic ID, number, state, fine for me by now. Actually, we will change this one here soon, but it's still fine. Products. Now let's have a look at the model editor. It says, I want a user editor. No, you do not. I want a main editor. No, not really. I want an orders editor. No, not at all. But that one will actually be a products editor. And that one is a products editor. Sorry. A products editor, and then is this no autofix, damn it. So let's get rid of these, they are all wrong. And then let's have an import for that one, but the products editor is not yet there, so we cannot have it. Let's get rid of this one. Okay, this takes some time. Anybody would like to give a little show meanwhile? Perhaps Janet Berger, would you please tell us a joke or something like that? Because your screen is still off. And I'm trying to edit these things here. And actually the products editor is pretty close to the, well, user editor. Yeah, why not? Or the main editor. The main editor pretty much has it. So let's copy the main editor from the old model and put it into our new model. and then rename it and call it a product editor. And then that one wants a supplier. Oh, that's interesting. No. But it wants a product. No, we do not want to have suppliers. We do want to have product. Great. Remove product, get or create product, get all suppliers. No, have suppliers. No, remove supplier DTO, get or create supplier. That was this old main thing had multiple things into one class, and that one is not going to go. And that is what we really want. The get or create product looks great. Remove product and have product, and so now it's an editor just for products. Great. And the model editor can actually now import that one. No autofix. Come on. Import products editor from, and it's single quotes, and it should be dot slash product editor. Great. And then it says, oh no, I don't have this. That was probably true. It was one editor, the order editor needed that, and the product editor will not need it. Great. And there's more things to come to the model editor soon, but this is fine for now. So, that looks great. The model editor is fine. Event looks great. Products, timeless. Product editor, query looks great. Everything is fine here. The query handler says, I do not need query at all. So why were you asking for it? It has a submit handler, reply, query handler. So this is timeless. This is general code, just copied. And there's a submit handler, who probably still has problems. It uses a model editor. That's cool. Then a model command handler. We do not. Oh yeah, we need a model command handler. A model command handler is great. That one was a pretty general thing that we would actually like to have. So we go for the server warehouse, business model, model command handler, and perhaps the product command handler is a good idea too. And we put it into the server shop and there in the business model. So the model command handler, this is timeless, works like a charm, nothing to be done about it. The product command handler, that might need some changes. For example, it should have another name. It should be product event handler but who cares? Handle, it gets an event. Yeah, checks this. And then there's this Saga part where it actually says, if the product is just created in a client, I do register it. And so this is what the warehouse does. The shop, when it gets this information, could actually says, oh, now it's at the shop, and then push this information back to the warehouse. I think this would be a good idea, but because I'm a really lazy guy, I'm going to stop here now and just say, okay, I do not change this because I do not actually do something to the product. I do not change it really, and there's no good reason for, well, dealing with complicated states. So it's just if it is registered, then I actually will register. And therefore I go for the products editor and call have editor. So I ask my submit handler, yeah, Go for the model editor, go for the products editor, have product. Great. Put into the event store. Great. And we do no longer change the state. We are happy with this. And so we do not need to do something about this. And it should be like that. Oh, sorry for that. Shift F. Great. If the state is unregistered, no, come on. I destroyed that one. Okay, it's not a problem. This one is going to go anyhow. So if it's registered, I go for, no, if it's unregistered. So someone has removed that product at the warehouse side. I should do the same at the shop side. And I do this via the, come on, products editor, remove product thing. Fine. So it's event ID. Yeah, good enough. Hey, we have a model command handler, we have a product command handler, we have query handler, submit handler. Everything is pretty fine so far. That should actually do the job already. And I think we should actually test this. Otherwise, we are not sure about things working really. So we go for source and say new folder. And it's underscore underscore. Come on. New folder. Test. It's small test, isn't it? Let's check. So yeah, underscore underscore test. Pretty nice. And actually that test that we put here, that is pretty different than the tests that we have usually. And so I'm going to actually copy this from my backup. And then we'll have a look at it. New file. This is products.test.ts, and then we put something in here, and then we go through it. We test the warehouse server for products. So no. Server shop. We test the shop server for products. We get a welcome audience to the WASP. It should be shop server. We are talking to the right service. Then we register some product, and that should be a t-shirt. And it still uses the LED name. That's bad. Let's have a shirt variable. I just added some new kind of product here in order to have something which does not interfere with data that comes from the warehouse. And we have an event, products. Yeah, that looks good for me. We do the API submit thing. So it's pretty much the same thing than the things that we did in the warehouse server side. However, the event that we are sending, the event that we are sending is or has the state registered. At the Cypress test we were doing was created that when the warehouse were registering it, and here we say, okay, they come already registered. Okay, we query for shirts. Yeah, we might unregister the t-shirt again. So we send something which is unregistered. And then we query whether this one had really worked. And then here it should be, it's copy paste all over the place. Should be shirts. Very important is that we use the right ID and the right thing here. Looks good for me. And then we do yarn. Let's have a yarn build first. Yeah, it still has a problem with tsconfig.json. So the tsconfig.json is on the wrong place, or where is it? No, it has no tsconfig. Oh, that's bad. So we need a tsconfig. That's probably also the problem with the course thing. And we want it in the server shop. Paste. So now we have a tsconfig. Let's have a look at it. It probably needs, yeah, it's fine. Is this the tsconfig I have? Okay. Here it does. Here it goes. Yeah. I recognize that the linter is now a lot more picky on me. So let's fix these things. It says the block is empty. That's no good. Somehow he's right. Come on. If there is an error, we should actually log it. And so that one is gone. Then there is a shadowed SQL statement. Let's go again. Then we can click on it. Then it jumps to that line. And then it actually says, oh, this is this thing that you have one SQL statement here, which does an insert. And if that fails, we do an update. And then he says, oh, there are two variables that are having the same name on different blocks. And you might confuse that. So please give it another name. And it holds the same thing here for the values after all. And so that one will get a 2 after all, a 2. Okay, he's right. And it's, let's run it again. I'm freezing to death. There is something which says promises must be handled appropriately. You are calling something and you do not have an await in front of it. And there's still this course problem, which is, we were said it's something, or it's not really there. Okay. So what we would like to do is an await here. No, you cannot do that. It says top level await expressions are not allowed. And actually, I was talking to Sebastian yesterday. He said, yeah, it's obvious you can't do that. You need to do something else, and you need to do something like then instead, and however, and then put everything that is behind that into that then, and then there's something, other things are not working any longer. However, in order to fix this, I will remove this thing, this start thing from the root thing, and I'll put it into the index thing. That's the easiest way to fix this. So I now do this submit handler start. So then I need to actually export the submit handler so that I can actually have it. Export, this is what I do. Submit handler, so please import it. Great. And then I call then. Come on. Which is a function that is executed as soon as this thing here has been finished. So it's actually doing the thing that you do when you, after the await. And that one gets an... Yeah, so now it's fine. This is the then. That one gets such a lambda expression as a parameter. And then we put this thing here up into that lambda. And then we are fine. So this is now going to do submit handler start. Then these await staff, as soon as the await arrives, it does the then operation, or calls the function that is passed to the then thing here. And that will actually then start the server to listen. We are fine. So now we need to do this submit handler start thing in our tests, because it's no longer done by itself. So we go for the products test thing here, and it should actually be in there. No, it's not. And we add it. So we do a submit handler start here. And here it now says, ooh, cannot find it. That's bad. So now you have it. So I did a quick fix, and now we have it. And then we do a wait in front of it, because we would like to have this finished. This is an asynchronous method. It will be, well, scheduled for execution, and then we would go on, but now we wait until it has been executed, and then we go on with sending the first request. That should do the job. Okay. Still errors. So what's the problem now? Still shadowed variables. Come on, no, I have changed that. It's SQL2 now, and values too. Didn't I save this? This is the server shop. This is the server shop. Oh yeah, it's just the old one. Oh yeah, okay. Now it's still that one. Oh yeah, it now says, oh yes, you have done the then case. However, what is happening in the error case? So we need to do a try catch around this, or we could actually say, I have a comma here, and I ask if there is an error. I call another lambda. And that one does console.log error. So, but now I'm fine. Come on. By the way, we will need some extra time today. Yeah, again, I'm sorry about this. There's still a lot of things to be done. And I actually need some extra time. So it now says, I do not have an order event handler. Yeah, it's okay for me, because you do not want to have it. Okay, there's a lot of things that are here which are no longer existing. So copy paste is not that easy. I should have prepared this after all. And still something wrong here. Yeah, of course. So yeah, we did not really look into the submit handler. Let's have a look. Go away. So it now has been reduced to the product command handler. That is good. The worker threads, what is this good for? Go away. Yes. It has a connection string for a database. This one is important. And we do not want our shop service to work on the event store of the warehouse. No way. It gets its own database. You might now choose, well, actually, it should be able to work with its own database system. It could use, but it also can use, those two can actually use the same database system. Then you have only to install Postgres once. However, in there, you have a database, and the database has tables. So you could just decide to use the same database and just give the table another name. That would be an option. You could even go and say, okay, we're using the same table, and then we add another key for each entry on that table, for each row, saying I'm belonging to the shop or I'm belonging to the warehouse. That has been done, but I really do not command it. I actually say, oh, there's no good reason for using the same table. So it's also no good reason for using the same database. Sometimes your test will actually say drop database and just start from scratch. And if you have two things that have two different tables in the same database, you are screwed. And therefore what you actually say, okay, it's okay to use the same Postgres, however, we will use another database. Therefore, we use not test warehouse DB, sondern test shop DB. Hey, and this says user protocol Postgres SQL. The user is Postgres, the password is admin, go for localhost, go for 5432, and this is actually the database system that I'm running on my local host here, my Postgres installation, and there go for the database called test shop database. Cool. And here it does something. So here it actually is creating the database. And so there's this name again, and this time I actually copy it. Come on. So I change this here. Create database is now creating the test shop database, which is so totally separated from the warehouse database. Cool. And then we should actually say it here. Okay, then it does a create table in that database, and we could actually use another name for that table, but there's no good reason. It's a separate database. We do not interfere with warehouse stuff. We have our own thing. We can still name it events. There's no problem here. Fine. And it's actually these things. So and this is all the stuff that we have had already with prepared statements. That looks good to me. Great. And let's try again. Hey, building is working. So lint is now satisfied. We don't have errors anymore. We can actually run the stuff. So we can actually do a yarn run test. We only have one test. That one is good enough. Test failed to run. So what did we do wrong? Come on. Failed to run. Just has detected 3 open handles. Oh my God. And error. Database test shop DB already exists. Yeah, that's true because I created it yesterday. And so I don't care after all. And this is a console log which has been done here. And yeah, we just changed this. So if there is an error, that means everything is fine after all. And we just say database exists and we are fine. I'm scared. I think we have still open handles. Let's see what's happening now. It still says this thing, so it didn't compile again. That's bad. It should compile automatically. I should actually fix my jest settings. So, and still a lot of problems. Still, oh, that looks much better. So, database exists. I love it. Seems to work. Submit handler has started. Love it. So there's a user management test. Where's this coming from? Am I in the right thing here? There, it's no longer working. There's a product, a user manager. I'm in the wrong. Damn it. Actually, I should close this one and start it again. I was in the wrong folder. I was executing the tests of the warehouse and I wanted to do the of the shop. So I'm in the shop now, I'm sure. And there is user management. So where is this coming from? I'm so sure that I'm... Where is this coming from? Server shop, young run test. Yeah, thank you. And then he finds it in the other folder. This is weird. No, it's still looking for the wrong ones. It's probably a problem with the TS with one of the config files. There needs to be a jest specification, something like that, I recall. And where is this going to live? In the package JSON, yeah. Okay. Server shop, package JSON. Let's look for jest. And there it says go for /_tests. So yeah, everything down the road, isn't it? So yeah, let's retry. It's the server shop. Just this one. No. So let's again have a look at the package JSON. And there it's the scripts. Test. Jest ---- detect open handles. Go for tsconfig. And the tsconfig. Out here is dist. Source and everything. Looks good to me. Let's remove the dist folder. Delete. Am I in the right one? Yeah. Yeah. So we have another dist folder. And it has tests, only that one, that should do the job. Product tests. I love it, and it's passed. It was working, great. And actually, yeah, sorry for all these problems. It's a learning chance. You see, I'm struggling with the system too. And these kinds happens if you do copy-paste stuff. It's always a bad thing. So our test does its job, hopefully. Our thing is working so far. I'm happy with that. So what we do have now, we have a shop service. And that shop service is, or we do not yet have a shop client. We do have a service. And that one is able to deal with products events. And actually, if I go for my database, so we have servers, there are databases, there's a test shop database. It's still open because I already have had a look at it yesterday. However, you can see tables and events, and then you can say, show me all rows. And there is a t-shirt, a shirt event, which is January 25th, which is today. Yes, at 12:10, which is Greenwich Mean Time. Yeah, that one is a very recent thing. And it says, very small after all, small shirts. Unregistered by products test. Hey, that one has actually worked, and it has actually reached our database, and it's the database of the test and not the database of the shop and not of the warehouse that we were using before. Okay, cool. We are fine. So we are ready to go, and that should actually have been prepared so that we would not have lost an hour on this one. Let's subscribe. So the shop service wants to subscribe at the warehouse service and tell the warehouse service, hey guys, I would like to be informed about, just one second, new products. And finally, new deliveries, new pallets that have been arrived, new goods that we can have. So we go for the shop service, and well, we do this query thing. And actually what we need to do first is we will do at yarn install yarn Axios, which is the thing that you can actually use very conveniently to do these calls. On the server shop side, yarn.axios -save, that will do the job. It should already have been there, but fine. And then, so where actually are we going to do that? And I was pretty unclear for me where to do that. However, I want it to happen when the shop service starts. It should go to the warehouse service and tell the warehouse service, "Hey guy, I'm new in town. Please would you inform me?" So I will do it on the startup of the shop service, which is actually done in business model. Well, actually startup. Here. I'll do it in submit handler start. That's the good thing. So currently the submit handler start creates the database and creates the event table and nothing else. And so this might be a good place to subscribe at warehouse. And we will do that by sending an Axios request. And I have prepared that. So it's server shop submit handler. Yeah, and it's not in this version. Great. So I go up for that one. And then there's this submit handler. Yeah, I can have that one. No. No. Give me a second. Shop subscribes. Here it is. Submit handler. Server shop. Yeah. And I do some little things in order to achieve this. It goes down to here. And I think we can at least do that one today. I actually wanted to go for by making the connection work. I probably will not be able to deliver this to you. And so we will probably in half an hour or so stop and then continue next week. It's a complicated thing that you need to do. And I think I need to go for here and put this in here. And we'll go through it. And we'll have to have more stuff. And it is formatted here. So actually, I'm going to make this a little bit simpler here because I was actually thinking that you would store your connection within your database, but actually we do not need that. So that will actually make things a lot simpler for us. So we can get rid of all these things. And what we need is this. And we do not even bother to put it into the event store, so let's get rid of this. So what we do is we do ourselves a publisher. And finally, we will do ourselves a subscriber. And then we will store this. I have decided that each of those two services, the shop server and the warehouse service, they are going to store all the publishers they know about and where they did subscribe to, and they store all the subscribers that want to be informed about something. And what we will store is the publisher, the URL, how to reach, where we find this guy, and when did we last speak to him? So when we recall, we were speaking to this guy 10 o'clock in the morning, then we can ask him on subscription only for new data. And that's basically the idea, and therefore we will actually do that. Okay, so I will store at my site that the warehouse is going to publish me, and when I have last talked to it, and this one will be updated all the time, and if I lose connection and I do reconnect, I can actually continue to use this information. Therefore, I need a publisher. I've prepared that. Let's have a publisher. And that one will live in my model. And it's damn easy. A publisher has an ID, a URL, a topic. Well, actually, if I subscribe to the same service for two different topics, I handle them in my database as two publishers. Because this might change later on, that there might be a new service that is responsible for the palettes, and this might be another one, or it might be the same as a warehouse. So we actually split that, and we have one entry in our data for each topic and service pair. And last known is the date when I was last time talking to this guy. This thing has no pointers to anything, so we could actually use it as a data transfer object directly. However, I have copied it into a publisher data transfer object class for consistency reasons, because we did it on the products and orders. I recommend to do it here again. It just makes things easier in your head. It's easier to deal with these things, and therefore it's probably a good idea. So we have a publisher, and we need to import that one. Done. Is this actually working? No, not at all. Fine. And we need a publisher DTO. And it probably has, no, that's working. Fine. We want to speak to local warehouse products. I actually wanted to distinguish between whether I want to connect the local warehouse running on my computer, or later on we will deploy it in the cloud at Heroku, and that one. Well, actually this distinction is not necessary. I actually want to speak to warehouse server for the products topic. And I run an URL, how I would like to reach this one for subscribing. And that is 34560 API query. For some reasons I will use the query thing. That's a matter of taste. After all, you could also use submit, but it was easier to hack it into that one. The topic will be products. And the last known time I was speaking to them, it's 1970, January the 1st, 0 o'clock, which is actually the beginning of time. So it's, if you have the time in milliseconds, are counted since since 1970, and so that's the thing I use to just a very ancient date. That will, on the first connection, I will ask for everything happened since 1970, because this is built in 2021. It will deliver me all data it has. Then it says I need a publisher's editor. Damn it. So we do not have an editor for publishers. And so we will need that. I have prepared this. You can easily copy that one from whatever you have, from the product editor, and then edit it. But it's easier for me to have a new file here, call it publisher publishers editor, and put all the code in here, which says I want to publisher DTO. I have a map of those guys. I have these have publishers thing where I do a get or create, and then add URL, topic, and last known taken from the DTO, the usual stuff. You remove, get or create thing, what you always have. Now, this is standard code. You know how to do that. Pretty simple thing. Okay. And go back to this one. Then it says the model editor needs to know about it. Yeah, fine for me. So it's a publishers editor of type publisher editor. So why doesn't it work? Publishers editor. Yeah, I see. .ts, thank you. And need to go back to that one and no, to the model editor. Where is it? So there was the import, it's fine. And we need to initialize this dot publishers editor becomes new publishers editor braces, fine, and go away, go away, go away, go away, submit handler, fine. Publishers editor have publisher. I just store it locally and turn my DTO into a real publisher object that I can actually use for whatever reason. I think actually I will use this later on to record when I last got information from this publisher. Then I will actually update the last known thing so that on reconnection I can do new stuff. So now I need a subscriber, which is actually the thing that I send from the shop to the warehouse. So we need a subscriber DTO, and so we need subscribers after all, where this comes from, and this is like publishers in the model. Subscribers. .ts, don't forget. And I have this prepared. And the funny thing is, this is exactly the same as the publisher. I store just the same information. And I was thinking about just having something like communication participant or a neighbor or a partner service or something like that. It's really confusing to have the same type for these two different roles. Am I dealing with a publisher who's sending information out, or I'm dealing with the subscriber who is receiving the information? It's mentally, for me, it's two different things. And therefore, I find it important to have both types. And I really recommend to stick with it. I will say I demand you to do it. In your later life, you can change that. For now, I think it's a very good idea to have it. So, and then we need, of course, an editor for these. Subscribers editor.ts, of course. And I have prepared that. And this one is really a one-to-one copy of the stuff that we have done for the products editor, so I'm not going into detail of that. You can look it up in the video when you want to. It's just doing the same thing. So those are pretty similar to each other. However, we deal with them in different ways, and therefore it is important to always know, is this now something which represents a publisher or a subscriber, and therefore we use two different types for that. It's not a big deal after all. So now our model editor needs to know about these, of course. So we need publisher as we have it, subscribers editor, which is a subscribers editor, and we need to initialize it. This dot subscribers editor becomes new subscribers editor. Still have cold fingers. Damn it. Ugh. Actually, it's hard to type with cold fingers. Ooh. Great. So we have that one. And go back to the submit handler, which is still not happy with everything. So he says, I need to import that one. Yeah, do it. And no, it should be dot dot. So it says it's a subscriber, and I say it's a shop subscriber, and actually, yeah, it needs a shop dot products in its name to be unique, because I will subscribe for multiple topics. And I will send another thing with, and I need a new ID each time. And here it says, oh, please send data to localhost 34570. The 7 was the port number that we were using for the shop service. And the API is submitted. And I'm interested in products. And last known is actually taken from the publisher. Okay, then it says, oh, you need a query. Oh, yes, of course. And here it comes. We need a new kind of query. And we do have a query. In our, are we still? Yeah, we are still fine. It has topic ID number state, something like that. And actually I will replace this one with one which is topic ID last known state and a payload for some reason. And there I can actually, well, provide anything. And that will actually enhance the possibility for doing a query. And I get rid of the old one. And because I'm changing this in the server, in the shop, I'll do this directly also in the server warehouse. Source, business model, no, model, query, yeah. So I actually should probably change this in the user interface, in the React clients, in the web warehouse and web shop too. I don't have a web shop yet. However, it's not necessary. They can use their old stuff because we currently only use topic and ID, and the old number, we never used it. So there's no reason for it. And it's okay to send only partial information, and so that's fine. We could actually go for the web warehouse and go for the query. And just kill those two because we never use them. And then we are fine. And so these are compatible enough to deal with it. I hope so. I have no idea. Cool. Get rid of that one. Get rid of that one. Here we are. Get rid of it. Let's. So what is wrong with this query? No autofix. So it's query TS. Yeah. So it doesn't work to do the auto import. So why? Here we do. Yeehaw! Okay, so what I do is I create a query with topic subscribers, which is the brand new topic. And as payload, I send this subscriber data description object. So I actually send a query telling, please would you subscribe this guy and inform it about products. And I do this as a query because when I send it out, the query handler, which is living in the business model, in the warehouse. Come on, load it all. So if I go for the server warehouse, this will actually find its way to the query handler. And the query handler is not yet prepared for it, but we will actually do it, is used to send a result when you do send a query. While the submit handler just echoes your data. And therefore, I actually found it easier to use the query handler here. And guys, I need a very short break now. I need to go for Jens. I'm just back in 4 minutes. Get yourself a coffee, please. So I'm back. Can you hear me? Still anybody there? Well, it seems to work again, but yeah, let's stop it. Yeah. Running out of battery. Okay, we are back. So where are we? I'm sorry for, we are already in overtime and I have had too much coffee this morning. So I use using query because the query handler is used to send a reply back. And that's basically the point here. And so let's go back for the submit handler. So we are still in the start method, you know. So we created the database, we set up some data, or store that we want to go for that publisher. We made ourselves a subscriber and we put that into a query. It's a new type of query that we just created. And then we would like to send it. Therefore we go for Axios, which we do not yet have, but that we might import. Because we did this yarn add Axios, we have it now. And here we go, great. And, start. That one gets the publisher URL, which is 5.6, so the warehouse, API query, we want to send a query, and the query. Great. Just the JSON object that we have, and what we will get back is an Axios response. Great. And that one will hopefully contain an event list, and that event list will contain a lot of product information. So we go for our handlers, go for the event topic and call handler.handle. Don't forget the await. So as a response for the query, could you please subscribe me? It will tell me everything which has been happening meanwhile or in between. That's the idea here. And it's one of the things that's pretty complicated. Actually, when those two, start in different orders, and then one goes down and comes back, or both go down and one come back and then the other one comes back. There's a lot of things going on in between, and then to just, resynchronize. It's a little bit brain fuck. Once you got it right, it's easy and it's really stable. However, to get there is quite a pain. And here we are. So we are going to send subscribers to subscriber DTO. So we go for the query handler of the server warehouse. So it says server warehouse query handler. So the one that will receive this query thing here. And then we do something here. I hope I have that one. Server warehouse query handler. Here we go. So if there's no topic, it's we just send an empty response. And if the topic is subscribers, so the new stuff here. So what do? We ask the query for the payload, because we know subscribers things have a payload. And then we need a subscriber DTO, which we do not have. So we go for subscribers, And I have the feeling that we need subscribers editor. And how about publisher and publisher's editor? Probably too. And that's from the server shop. And I just copy it one-to-one to the model of my warehouse. Yeah, fine. And then I go back to the query handler and I say, yeah, import it. Cool. Then it says, oh, the model editor should have it. Yeah, that's true. So go for the model editor and say subscribers editor becomes subscribers editor or is of type, and this dot subscribers editor becomes new subscribers editor, and we probably should do that for and we probably should do that for the publisher's editor too, but we actually do not need it yet, just when we do the same thing in the reverse direction. So next week. Yeehaw! So the model editor has a subscribers editor. And that one has now the subscriber with the subscriber DTO that we just have parsed. Cool. And then we want a result list, which is this submit handler, get events since subscriber topic, subscriber last known. That one is a new one. And actually we are going to add this to the submit handler. And then it's actually going to work. Be patient, hopefully. So we go for the submit handler. And it has such get methods. So the get latest event thing here, which asks for all events of a certain topic, that would actually probably do the thing. However, if our data grows and grows, you do not want to send all data all the time when somebody subscribes, but things that you have already sent days before you want, or weeks or months before, you do not want to send again. So we add a new SQL statement, which is get events since, and you get a topic and a date string that you would like to use. And then it says select topic ID, store time, JSON from events, topic $1, store time $2. And these are here the values that are done into the prepared SQL statement. And the trick is this one here. In our event table, we look for events of a certain topic, and the store time shall be greater or equal to $2. And when you deal with databases, you actually need to think about scaling. So always have in mind, is this going to work even if there is some million of entries in that table? So looking up with the key, or part of the primary key, is usually very efficient. Looking up with the time here can be made efficient if the table has or identifies the store time as an index attribute. You have actually to tell SQL, oh, please have an additional sorted index that allows fast access through the store time. And then SQL is actually able to deliver these in really short time. And even for very large databases which have data of several years, you can ask for everything from today in like that. So SQL can do that. So it's a good idea to, if the table grows, you should have an index on that one data, and probably you should have an index on the on the first part of the primary key too, but it should have it already. So yeah, we can do that. And then we do this query, we wait for the result, and there's a lot of logging I used for debugging. And then I go for row by row of the result, get the JSON string, parse it into an event, and push the event into the event list that is then returned as the result of this query. So that should be actually a result or something like that. Yeah, fine for me now. So we have additional things, and actually we need something that is actually computing. Did we talk about get new store time? Last week? I don't think so. So that's a good point in time to do this. New store time is saying, so usually you just create a data object, and that data object, if you do not have any parameters to it, is created from the current system clock. So it's actually now. And then you turn that into a string representation in the standard format. It's an ISO string, and that's the time. So this time is exact by, well, usually 1 millisecond. Actually, this JavaScript thing, it actually sometimes delivers you nanoseconds, so 6 additional things more to be, well, more precise. But you cannot rely on that, because this really may depend on your machine and everything. So I was assuming it is only delivering a new date once a millisecond. And so this is, if you call that one, well, 10,000 times within 1 second, it's probably possible that you can actually execute it that often. And then there will be, well, 10 requests per millisecond, and you would actually have 10 different things which have the same store time. Well, actually that's not that bad, but I didn't like the idea, because if I asked for everything since last known, I would actually say, okay, I only sent you things which have been later than the last known thing. And if there are several events which have been exactly that date, I might miss some of those. And I would be forced to send all those which have exactly the last known date, and which is at least one. And that's not a good idea. And therefore I actually I say, okay, submit handler, you should have a last store time, which is actually a static attribute. I never did this before. Here, which is empty at the beginning, or could be 1970 or something. Let's have that one. And if the last store time is greater than or equal the new time, then I say, okay, I just add 1 millisecond to this. So I take again a new date from the last store time, which is newer than my current time. And I say I would like to know the UTC milliseconds of that. I'm not sure whether the UTC is this universal time, or a unique or whatever time, which is Greenwich Mean Time. Well, I used it. And then I get milliseconds. I do milliseconds plus. So it's plus 1 milliseconds. I do a new date of this new milliseconds. So it's 1 millisecond in the future. And then again, the toIther string. This is now becoming the last store time. And this is the thing that I'm going to return. Otherwise, I store the new time. So usually I just store the new time and return the new time. Pretty complicated. I think it's safe to do it this way. And you will barely run into this problem during testing. However, if you scale and run on a very fast machine, it might happen to you. And I'm not sure whether this is a smart thing to do or a very bad thing to do. And well, in 100 years from now, when computers are running on light speed, that might even, well, be not enough. And then your company is named Google, and you are doing, well, 1 million requests per millisecond. And then this will go constantly into the future, and you will reach the end of time earlier than the others. That might be a problem. And actually, if you do a restart, then you would actually have to look up the latest store time, or you need to store it somewhere persistently, and there's a lot of more related problems. And if you just ignore it and just do a new date to EtherString, it would probably work too. And where is this actually used? How do I get all the definitions? Go to symbol, go to declaration. Oh yeah, it is the declaration. Go to uses, no, show usages. Does anybody know how you go to references? Yeah. So here, when I do this insert, I actually use submit handler get new store. Actually, I think last week I was using something like a fake string there, and actually I should use this get new store time thing, and probably when I do an update too. So that is on the update there, I should actually do that. Oh, cool. So this is one thing that is actually where we will rely on later on, and that was a good point in time to actually show it to you. Get events since. So what's still to be done? Submit handler. So the query handler. Get latest events. No, that's not the right query handler. This is the query handler of the warehouse. Get events since. So what is the problem here? The event is not yet imported, and that's a little bit harder. Yeah, I want to do that one. Here we are. Fine. Thanks. Okay. So I asked my database for all the events since the last known event that are related to my current topic, which is products. So all the products which are newer than, well, 2017 or something like that, entries all have an event there. So this goes down to my event store database. I put that into a result object as in the event list, and then I say result JSON, so send it to the caller, and I do a return. I'm done with this request. So this is the handle of the query handler. No topic, just return an empty list. Topic equals subscribers, do this complicated stuff, and usually all other cases just go for the event list and get the latest events. So without this last known thing. Hey, could do the job. I'm pretty sure it does. I think we can actually run a test. And then we are done for today. I'm not sure. I'm scared. So what I actually need to do now is to start this service here. Yeah, and I think I will start it in the debugger because I have prepared that. Come on. And I have created a number of new run specifications. Actually, we could actually have a look at them. I want to edit these. here's some of these. This is the launch thing of the server warehouse thing. And I have yarn run tsdev. That is the one I want. I think so. I'm not sure. Before we do that, for safety reasons, let's actually compile it again. So let's go for another one on the server warehouse and do a yarn build. It's probably not yet ready for running. Run the linter and these kinds of stuff. Might be a good idea. Yeah, you see. So, block is empty. This is create just db. No. We create a database. So we have had that console.log database exists. And then there is yet another empty block. Yet again, create database. It's almost done, guys. Still have very cool fingers. Exists. Okay. Promises must be handled. That one is an important one. Unused expression. Line 44. Create event table is never used. I don't believe it. Shadowed name pool. When it's... come on. Yarn build. Okay. It's scrolling so fast it's hard to get it. Yarn build. Here we are. Unused expression. Expected an assignment or a function call. Yeah, of course. So this is... I have added the code at the wrong place. Where did this one come from? Shit. So where am I? So it's a create database thing. That one looks good. Does it? No, there's something missing here. But that one is fine. That's just, oh yeah. That one was gone. Okay. Okay, now it says shadow variables. F2. F2. Ah. Great. Promises need to be handled. Yeah. There was one await missing, and yet another one here. Oh yeah, this is this submit handler start, you recall. So we put that one out of this one. And we put it into this one. Dot. Then and we put this stuff up there, and we add a handler for the error. Könnte mal wieder einen von euch. I could ask one of you guys, like Yannick is still have no screen. What to do? What should I fill in here? Yannick? Yannick, looks like he's not there. Console.log. Why not error? Should not happen. And it says I do not have a submit handler. Yes, now you have. Great. So actually this submit handler start needs to be added to all our tests, the jest tests. Just to recall that. I'll do that during the week and we'll revisit it thereafter, next week. So probably it should work now. Come on. Yeah, you're right. Come on. Hey, we did it. I just run it from the console. Test warehouse exists, server started at 3456. This is important. So that one is working. And so we could now go for this guy here and then call for yarn run test. I have no idea whether this is going to work. Yeah, it did something. I'm astonished. And actually this one is giving you a console.log of products that we have received on subscription, which is a Raspberry Pi and an Arduino, and that's it. No. There's also a mask, an FFP2 mask for Corona that you can buy on the shop. So yeah, did work. Hooray! So let's have a look. So what did we achieve? The shop sends a query. I would like to subscribe for products. Please send me information about products on this URL. And the warehouse service handles this query and sends this information back. And actually it stores also, I have a listener for products, and what we do next is we tell the put into event store operation to send out new product information whenever it occurs directly to all the subscribers that we have. And we will do so next week, and then we will do the reverse direction, and then we are done, and then we are ready for palettes, and then we are ready for the shop client. And then we are ready, then we are done with the whole project. So there is still far more to do on this connection of these two to get this really right. And the other half is going to come next week. Because of that, there's no assignment this week. So you actually can just go through the things I have implemented, because next week there will be an assignment where all the stuff, so the stuff of this week and next week has to work. And so there will be a huge workload next week. So just prepare already as much as you can, and that will save you a lot of time. Thank you for your attention, and I'm again sorry for the overtime. And I wish I could promise it will be better next week, but I don't dare to. See you.